In this video, I'm going to go over how to handle self-doubt before and during games. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. The way that I want to look at this is how we can work on building ongoing confidence so you can limit self-doubt first. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Then I'm going to go over how you can handle this self-doubt right before the game starts. Then I want to give you a few different tips you can use to handle self-doubt during the actual competition. So the first thing we need to look at is building confidence on an ongoing basis to reduce the chances of doubting yourself going into games. And this will come in two different ways. The first way is you want to make sure that you are proactively working on building confidence by using mental training tools such as a self-talk routine and visualization. A self-talk routine helps you build the pattern of thinking that you want to have. In other words, we look at the impact your thinking has on your confidence, and then we say, okay, how can I work on training myself to think in a more confident way? And we use a self-talk routine where we come up with a list of, let's say, 10 positive statements or 10 confident statements, and we begin reviewing them every single day. And then what we do is, as we are reviewing them, we try to remember them when we practice, and then we try to remember them when we play, which I'll talk more about here in a second. And as you keep doing this on a daily basis, what ends up happening is you are retraining your brain to think more confidently. If you think more confidently, you'll feel more confidently, and you won't doubt yourself as much. Because all self-doubt is a pattern of thinking that's focused on the reasons why you cannot succeed. We need to get you thinking about all the ways and all the reasons as to why you can succeed. And so that's also why you want to make sure you're using some visualization, because visualization as a mental training tool helps us build what's known as the memory of success. The memory of success means in your mind, you see yourself as successful. Even if you haven't been playing too well recently, we can still use this visualization to build the memory of success. What you would do with visualization is just pick, maybe one or two situations within a game. It's probably the situations where you are experiencing the most doubt. You would pick those situations, and then you would visualize yourself performing well in those moments. As you work on visualizing these moments, you also want to work on feeling confident as you visualize each of those situations. When you use a self-talk routine and you use visualization, and you do this on an ongoing basis, what ends up happening is you are building stronger confidence. The more confident you are in yourself and your skills, the less you will doubt yourself. So I know that you want to make sure that you're not doubting yourself next game, which the tools I'll share here in a moment will help you with that. But you also want to be looking at, how can I reduce the chances of me doubting myself 2 weeks from now? How can I reduce the chances of me doubting myself 6 months from now? So we always want to make sure we have a plan in place that is consistently building our confidence. The other thing that we want to look at when it comes to building confidence is the actual preparation we are doing during the week. And this is where it can be challenging because we have to be completely honest with ourselves. So let's say that I am a soccer player and I'm doubting my passing. So before games, I am experiencing a lot of self-doubt centered around my passing. However, I'm not putting a whole lot of extra attention in during practice, and I'm not putting any extra work in outside of practice on improving my passes. If that's the case, then it makes sense why I would be doubting myself. And so if that's my situation, if I want to work on not doubting myself, I really have to make sure I'm doing everything I can during the week to improve that skill. So this is where we have to look at physical preparation, be honest with ourselves, and make sure that we are doing absolutely everything we can to prepare as much physically as we can in order to build confidence. When you focus on preparation and when you use a self-talk routine and visualization, when we combine those three things, what ends up happening is we drastically reduce the chances of us doubting ourselves in the future. So that's the first thing that I want you to focus on. What can you be doing in terms of that mental preparation and physical preparation to build confidence for your upcoming performance? Now, if you have an upcoming game, or even if you do those things and you still feel doubt, which is 100% possible, if not likely, especially in the beginning phases, we need a way to manage this doubt in the moment. So this is where we're going to focus on proactively thinking positively and confidently. And then we want to focus on reframing when we notice ourselves having these thoughts of self-doubt. And so this all, again, focuses on the idea that self-doubt, while it is a feeling, right? While we do feel like we don't trust ourselves, we have that feeling of doubt, it all stems from our thinking. So if you know that you have the tendency to doubt yourself before a game, it is very important that leading into the game, you proactively think confidently. What I mean by this is you identify what does confident thinking look like for you. Then you focus as much attention as possible on having those confident thoughts as the game starts. As you work on proactively having those thoughts, right, and you're focused on the action of confident thinking, you are keeping those thoughts of self-doubt at bay. So that's the first thing you want to make sure you're doing as the game starts, right before the game, right? Make sure you're proactively thinking confidently. But while you're doing that, you will also have thoughts of self-doubt, right? We know they'll be present. That's where the practice of reframing comes in. When you notice yourself having these negative thoughts, these thoughts of self-doubt, recognize them and then reframe them. For example, going back to the soccer player example, I've been practicing my passes and now I'm still thinking, I don't know if I can have good passes today. I hope I don't screw up my passes. I would recognize that, then I would reframe it to, nope, I trust my preparation. I know I'm going to make some good passes today, right? The more you do that, the less you'll be doubting yourself. And when I'm working with athletes in one-on-one coaching, which by the way, if you are interested in learning more about the one-on-one coaching I offer, I've put a link to that in the description below. When we're working on this self-doubt, I talk to them about how our thinking has to be viewed as an action. And in all honesty, it's one of the main actions during games and before games that is within our control. We have to make sure we are taking control of our thoughts and taking action to have these confident thoughts. So before the game, if you're doubting yourself, proactively think confidently and then reframe those self-doubt thoughts when you notice they're present. Now, the next thing that we want to focus on is how do we handle this self-doubt during games? The same principle will apply where you want to proactively be thinking confidently during the games. Now, you don't want to try to overthink during the games because you do want to allow yourself to get into the flow of the game. However, if you're a softball player, let's say, and you're pitching, so you're the pitcher for the softball team, and you doubt yourself after you walk a batter. Well, after you walk a batter, you would want to proactively be thinking something confidently like, I know I'll get this next batter, just focus on the mid, I know I can throw strikes, I trust in myself, right? You would just want to try to be filling your mind with those confident thoughts. So again, we want to proactively think confidently during games, and the same thing is true for the reframing. We can use that action during the games as well. But what we also want to work on doing during the games is we want to work on paying attention to the moments when we are doubting ourselves the most. Then we want to identify, all right, what is the main controllable action that I can take right now that will help reduce my doubt, or will be the opposite of the doubt and will be the way that I would play if I was feeling completely confident. Now, this will vary based on your sport. So for example, if I'm a soccer player and I'm finding myself hesitant to make passes because I'm doubting myself during the game. Well, the one thing that I could control is I would try to focus on being more aggressive with my passes during the game, no matter how uncomfortable that might be. If I am a basketball player and I'm doubting myself with shooting, I would focus on taking shots as much as possible. I would focus on pulling the trigger more when I'm open and can take a shot. Now, if I'm a baseball player or a softball player and I'm doubting myself going up to bat, well, the controllable action I could take would be focusing on my pre-at-bat routine. The idea here is when we doubt ourselves during games, the main way that this doubt limits our performance is by causing us to hold ourselves back, right? That's where the soccer player is just making easy passes and the basketball player is passing up shots. Or it distracts us from what we need to be doing in that moment to prepare us for whatever it is that we want to be successful with. For example, the softball player or the baseball player going up to bat, if they doubt themselves a lot, they won't be focused on preparing for the at-bat, they will be questioning themselves. So in that case, they would want to hyper-focus on, hey, what can I be doing to prepare for this at-bat to make myself successful instead of just doubting myself the entire time. But what I really want you to keep in mind when it comes to managing doubt, whether it's before the game or during the game, is that managing doubt is an actionable process. There is no way for us to just flip a switch and to eliminate all doubt. Even if you have some killer performances recently, it's likely that doubt will still be present. But if we take action, right, if we focus on our preparation, if we use tools throughout the week to build confidence, and then before games, if we focus on proactively having positive thoughts and then reframing thoughts when we have these doubtful thoughts, if we do the same thing during the games, and then if we focus on those controllable actions during the performance, what we are doing is we are taking the proper action to counteract self-doubt. And if we do this long enough, what ends up happening is that self-doubt is reduced. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. If you're interested in any of the sports psychology programs I have available, I've put links to those in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.